Tuesday, sunny with a high close to 60. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we have service centers in Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, Papillion, Nebraska, and pretty much everywhere outside of Nebraska via the Schrock desk. 866-496-8772 is the number to reach us on the program this morning. Compute This is recorded live every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. We're also broadcasting live right now on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. So if you are a person who wants to call into the program and get on the air, give us a call between 7 and 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, and bada boom, you're here. If you call that number any other time, you get connected to one of our service centers where hopefully we can help answer your question and get everything taken care of. All right. So, you know what? It has been a crazy couple weeks. It's been hurry up and get the update, hurry up and run the update, get it into the shop if you can't get the update. You know what? It is nice to be able to do a show where I'm not like, hurry up and buy the update. Where it's just we could just go through the news and have a nice show and have some fun, you know. So this is what we're going to do today. Now there is some business we're going to take care of as far as there are a few more woes with this update. So I'm going to get that out of the way first, because it's always good to get the nasty medicine first, and then you can eat dessert. But basically, for those of you who were not aware, Microsoft about 2 weeks ago initially released their newest version of Windows 10. For those of you who don't know, the Windows 10 that you had like 6 months, 8 months, a year ago is different than the Windows 10 that's out now. It's like a completely different animal. It's like you had a Ford and now you have a Chevy. Like, it's completely different. It's as opposed to a lot of people, we're used to in the past where you have an upgrade and it goes from Windows 95 to Windows 98. And then there's a 98 second edition. That's different, okay? And then, Windows Millennium, which let's just forget about that. And then Windows XP, which was great so we have these name changes that really demark, the change in an operating system. Also, looking back in time, the way that we get our software is different now. Because back then, if you wanted to upgrade to one of those, you had to go out and buy the discs, and you got it home, and you opened your box, and you put your discs in, and you ran the upgrade, and then everything was fine. Now all these updates are delivered in real time over the internet. We also receive lots of updates in real time over the internet. So basically, it can be confusing for some people to say, well, this is an update, and this is an upgrade that Microsoft chooses to call a feature update. It's different. They're all updates, but this one's an upgrade. So one of these big upgrades is what was pushed out 2 weeks ago. Microsoft pushed it out, and as people were installing it on their computers, some people seem to find that, in fact, a lot of people, our 20% estimate, if you recall in the show in previous weeks, we said about 20% of the people that run this update on their own at home are going to have a significant problem. Something is really, really going to go badly wrong. The other 80% are going to be fine, right? Well, it was actually more like 40% were going to be fine, which is why it's been such a busy week over at the shop. Pleased to report Windows 10 October 2000 update. That's funny. Windows 10 October 2000 update. So 2018 update. Are they saying it's an update to the update? Or is it just calling it by its name, the update? Which, of course, is actually an upgrade, but, let's not split hairs. Microsoft releases fix for data deletion bug. That's a pretty big bug. So you go to reboot your computer, it would download this update, and you'd go to restart, and then you would come up, everything would be fine, except you'd go to open your files, and they're all gone. All your pictures are gone, all your files are gone, all your documents are gone, your email's gone, everything is gone. That's a really big problem to have. Microsoft announced it's identified the underlying cause of a bug that deleted the data for some customers who were among the first to install the Windows 10 October 2000 update to 1809. The fix is rolling out to members of the Windows Insider program first. For real? Okay. I have it on good authority Now, Microsoft pulled the update over this. Like they literally, just like last time, they pulled the update back, and we're all like, oh no. Customers are calling saying, is there going to be like, is the next version going to be 18.10 instead of 18.09? You know, what do we need to do here? There isn't going to be a new version or a new update. They're going to tweak the existing update to have it work properly. We knew what the problem was with this based on the reports online. It wasn't hard to figure out that people who had Intel chipsets on their motherboards and or Intel solid state hard drives were having this problem. So as a result, a lot of Schrock customers were not impacted by this because most Schrock customers have Intel or have AMD processors in their computers, and their chipsets are not Intel chipsets because we typically use Intel motherboards in our computers. So it was pretty straightforward. Now, of course, there were always the exceptions to the rule. You know, there are pieces of hardware that we have out there that had this, and of course, there's lots of customers who have computers that were not built by Schrock. And so as a result, you know, we had a lot of customers on our list of about 23,000 customers. I don't even know how many copies of Safe Upgrade we have left. We made a few more available once we got through the initial push for people who wanted them. But basically, this update is going to fix this problem for a lot of people and make sure that you don't lose your data, which is great. That's great. Headline: more Windows 10 update woes. HP users are reporting a blue screen of death after the Tuesday patch. So, Microsoft pushes out a patch to handle data deletion problems, and HP users get a blue screen of death as a result of the patch. On just a few HP systems. So we're going from the wider populace of computers down to just one manufacturer now. So I suppose that's a good thing. We're narrowing the funnel here of people who are going to have, you know, gnashing of teeth and tears over this update. The cumulative update for the few PCs that moved to Windows 10 1809 before Microsoft halted its rollout is causing blue screens of death errors on some HP machines. The suspected cause of the blue screen is this update that came out for 1809 shortly after it was installed. There was an update for the update like the day after we started installing it, which fixed an error that deleted user profiles. But if the profile was already deleted, why is there a patch after you? Okay, let me get a timeline. You know, remember back in school where you'd organize historical events along a timeline? Columbus sailed to America, you know, the War of 1812. So you'd have all these important things on the timeline. So here we go. Tuesday, 5:30 p.m., because that's when everybody pushes out updates, because that's oh so smart. Microsoft releases 1809 update. Tuesday at 7:50 p.m., Schrock finishes testing update on multiple computers in multiple service centers, uploads the files to the server, and sends the go command to everybody who has Safe Upgrade. Overnight, that period overnight, about half the people who tried to run Safe Upgrade were not able to complete the update. And that led to a lot of people getting upset because they're like, hey, I bought Safe Upgrade. Why is it not working? And the answer is it was working beautifully. It stopped the update that was going to delete your data because it was going to delete your data, and we detected that. That's what Safe Upgrade is. It's not Sure Upgrade. It's Safe Upgrade. All we can do, guys, is get the update that Microsoft gives us, and then we push it out to computers and make sure that it installs properly. So we can't control the update. We can't rewrite the software code of the update. But we can make sure that if we see like mass deletion of files, we can say, no, and we can blow it up. Microsoft detects the update blew up, rolls the computer back to the previous version, and all of your stuff is still there. And then you know people tried multiple times and they said it keeps failing on first reboot. Well, yeah, it's failing on first reboot because if it would have rebooted, it would have deleted your data. And so that was why it failed. So Safe Upgrade did its job and saved. I can't even imagine what would have happened if, you know, I mean, the people who buy Safe Upgrade, they are the core of Schrock customers. These are the people that have all the Schrock stuff. They've got Secure Updater, they've got Drive Advisor, they've got Endpoint, and they're like, you know what? I need to make sure this is done right. I'm going to make sure it's done right. They come in for preventative maintenance every 6 months with a prepaid certificate. These are the core Schrock customers. And when they get this and they're saying, hey, this isn't working, this isn't like a Schrock product, you know, why isn't it working? And then they find out that they would have been hit by this. I can't imagine half of our core customers getting hit with a data deletion bug. That's a huge whoopsie daisy. So basically they put out a patch. So they pulled the update then after that. We knew what the problem was. So first of all, we allowed Safe Upgrade to continue pushing the update because we knew that people who would have the problem, it wouldn't install. And people who weren't going to have the problem would get the update and everything would be right as rain and they'd be fine. The people that it didn't install for, we had them come into the service center or we tried to do it over the Schrock desk. We were able to do it over the Schrock desk for quite a while till Microsoft pulled the update. Once they pulled the update, we didn't have any alternative ways to get the files that we needed from your house. To transfer a file, a 4 gigabyte file over the Schrock desk takes way too long. So at that point, we had to start having people come in for updates. Then, as people came in for updates, they said, while it's in here, some people had prepaid maintenance certificates they wanted us to use because they said, Thor, I've just noticed over the last 6 months, this thing has gotten ridiculously slow. And when I say ridiculously slow, I have been known to be a slightly impatient person at times. So when I'm using my computer, if I hit the start menu and it takes, 4 seconds for the start menu to open, that's kind of infuriating for me. When I push the button, I want it to do something like now. Okay, maybe I'm spoiled, okay? I'm sure a lot of you have computers at home. When you push the button, something now doesn't happen. You have patience. It's a virtue of which I don't have a ton of. So there's patience is a virtue, and then there's the patience of Job. I had a computer in the Lincoln Service Center. When we went to turn it on, and of course she wanted to show me the problem on the front desk, right? And there was a line of people. So we went to turn the computer on. No, I'm not even exaggerating. 4.5 minutes later, the thing was booted up and ready to be used. At one point, I restarted the darn thing because I thought it locked up. No, it was just that slow. And she goes, see, this is what I mean. It never used to be this slow. And so we started looking into it. And sure enough, just like a lot of other computers out there, all these patches that have come down to patch all these security vulnerabilities. How many shows did we have where we talked about the Spectre vulnerability or the Meltdown vulnerability or Spectre 2 or Spectre 3 or Spectre 4? And there were all these branch offs that kept getting patched and patched and patched. And these were hardware problems. So in the middle of Safe Upgrade coming out, then we had some people complain that Safe Upgrade took forever to install, much longer than it did last time. And there was some confusion as to why that would be. It's because all these patches that came down slowed your computer down up to 40% in some cases. But it made it secure, right? There was a hardware vulnerability, and they released a bunch of software patches to fix it. The only way if you have a car, and inside your car there is an engine, and you throw a rod through the side of your engine, you're not going to fix that with an update to the car's computer, unless possibly you tell the engine to work in such a way that it doesn't use that rod or cylinder. You disable that piece of the engine, and then the rest of the engine continues to work. Now, guys, I'm not a mechanic, okay? Maybe that's possible, maybe that's not. Gearheads out there are probably freaking out right now. But that's okay. Your transmission doesn't work, so the computer says we're just going to drive backwards, put it in reverse. Okay, maybe that's better. I don't know. Bottom line is the only way software can fix a hardware problem is by turning something off. And that's what they did. They turned off the stuff that makes your computer's processor fast with a hard drive. So as a result, anybody out there that has a mechanical hard drive has experienced a slowdown on their computer of up to 40%. Now, what is a mechanical hard drive? Long story short, unless you have a holiday special or a Schrock build that you've purchased in the last 2 years, or you just had me put a solid state in your computer, you have a mechanical hard drive. Mechanical hard drives are spinning hard drives with moving parts. Solid state hard drives have no moving parts. And we're upgrading this. That 4.5 minute customer had me transition her hard drive out for a solid state. Some of the solid states they're so inexpensive now, $150 compared to $500 last year. She had me put a solid state in her computer, and the 4.5 minute boot time, I know this is not an exaggeration or a joke, went down to 13 seconds. 13 seconds. It was faster than the day she bought the computer. She was absolutely thrilled with that. And the computer was usable again. There, in some cases, the customers who came in, whose computers are in that group that's been hit by 40%, they want a maintenance checkup done. We call them first and offer them the solid state upgrade first, because otherwise the maintenance checkup is going to take 2 days to scan everything. But if we upgrade you to a solid state, we can have it done today. and then we get it done, and the customers get their computers home, and it allows them to put off buying a new computer for another few years. Because a lot of people, you might be in the same boat, are using this computer right now and saying, this thing is just slow. I mean, it is wicked slow. Maybe I just need a new computer. Thor's on the radio saying the last 18 months now, maybe my 18 months is over and I need a new computer. In some cases, that's true. In most cases, all you need is a solid state hard drive, and then you can milk another couple years out of that computer that you have, whether it's a Schrock build or not. Now, here's the thing. I said the computers that HP and Dell and everybody makes are designed to last about 18 months. Not when we get our hands on them, because we know what components to replace to make those computers last longer, and one of the biggest ones you can get replaced is that solid state hard drive. Some laptops have solid state hard drives already, especially the newer ones, but no desktops do. So if you have a desktop or an all-in-one, unless it's a Mac that you bought this year, it's not going to have a solid state drive, and we can dramatically improve the performance. So in the middle of this huge explosion of update stuff, we're also improving people's performance on their computer. So it's been a hectic week. But at this point, it looks like the update is, okay, according to Microsoft, they're not pushing the update on anybody anymore. They've re-released it. But we're seeing it coming through on people's computers again, automatically. So once again, your computer will automatically get the upgrade, the update. And now the data deletion bug has been fixed. And if you have an HP, there's a little bit of a problem here, but hopefully they're going to patch that soon too. All in all, it should be a pretty smooth sailing update, which has led full circle back to, is it really necessary for Microsoft to update Windows twice a year? Full of new features that nobody really wants. And when I say nobody, I'm not saying the features aren't cool. It's not. I'm not saying that it's bad that your computer can now interface with most 3D printers and create really amazing, that they updated Microsoft Paint so you can create 3-dimension designs and print them on a physical printer that prints plastic to make something. That's pretty cool. But I can also tell you, for the same reason we don't put gaming graphics cards in all of our computers, yeah, they're pretty cool, but my customers don't do that. So why would I make my customers pay for something they're never going to use? And that's one of the biggest concerns right now with the update every 6 months. This update, like we got today, or this week, last week, is going to happen again in April. Every 6 months. And some customers expressed some frustration to me and said, Thor, this is ridiculous that I have to have this every 6 months. Some people asked me for a subscription service to Safe Upgrade. And I'm just like, I don't know if we take each update as an individual thing. Microsoft could change their update schedule next year, and then you have a subscription to something that you don't need. That doesn't make any sense. So we do it as a one-time thing. So for those of you who purchased your Safe Upgrade, if you're hearing my voice for the first time, make sure you run your Safe Upgrade now. If you're not sure whether or not your Safe Upgrade completed successfully, you can right-click on the Start menu. So go down to the lower left-hand corner of your screen and right-click, not left-click, right-click, and a menu will pop open. Not the Start menu, a little menu box. Then you left-click on System. So right-click on the Start menu, left-click on System, and you'll have to scroll down a little bit, but you'll see there it's version 1809. 1809 is what you want. What you had before was 1803. So you're going from 1803 to 1809. 1809 is the desired outcome. If you have 1809, everything is right with the world and your computer will be just fine. If you don't have 1809, if you haven't bought Safe Upgrade, you should go pick up a copy of Safe Upgrade. Otherwise, your computer will get this update automatically at some point. Make sure you have a good backup of your stuff, guys. That's always, always a good practice. 866-496-8772. Coming up on the program today, good news from Facebook. They've downgraded the number of profiles that has been exposed in a data breach. They thought it was 50 million, but it turns out it was only 30 million. Yes. See, I have good news for you. Here, more good news, right? Mysterious gray hat guy, gray hat hacker. A gray hat, you have a black hat and a white hat, like the old cowboy movies. Guess where the gray hat is? He's kind of good and he's kind of bad. He's the guy the ladies love. Now, the mysterious gray hat hacker is patching people's outdated routers. So yeah, he's hacking into your router, but then instead of doing something evil, he's fixing it so no one else can hack in. Isn't that kind? So it's a good news story. Samsung, our foldable phone will be a tablet that fits in your pocket. We're going to talk about that. You got a, what do they call that? Phablet. It's like a phone and a tablet together. It's a phablet. It's so fabulous. Proof of concept code for a new bug from Microsoft Edge. If you use the Blue E ain't safe right now. We're going to tell you why. And this is really interesting. If you haven't been following the story about Google and Congress, so Google is really quick to expose anybody who's got a security vulnerability like Flash. Anytime they can use it to hammer brow one of their competitors, they're really quick about it. But when they have their own data breach, Google just covers it up. Did you know that Google Plus, their really shoddy, poor excuse for a Facebook competitor social network thing? Never mind, you don't know about it. That's why it failed. Yeah, it got breached and everybody's information got stolen, and Google's response was just to turn it off and pretend like it didn't happen. Hey, if you have a PayPal account and you like to go to Walmart, now you're going to get full banking services at Walmart from your PayPal account, which is kind of cool. And then, hey, this just in, these 5 hacking tools are being used to target your computer. We're going to tell you about the tools that you can't do anything about. All right, and then last up here, I got one more big one. Oh, no, that was Windows 10 update woes. We already covered that. So the woes are done. We got some good news stories. I'm telling you guys, it's like a whole new program. We're not going to be freaked out about updates anymore. Everything's going to be fine, at least for the next 6 months. And we'll be right back after this on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone? Back up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, Service Centers, Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion. 866-496-8772 is the number to join us on the show, and we can always help you live anytime we're open, Monday through Saturday from 10 to 8, Sunday from noon to 5, over the Schrock desk as well. 866-496-8772. Dale, you're next up on the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I listen to you talk about technology. Can't you wait till they get driverless vehicles on our roads?
That was supposed to happen by August.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Tesla there, but they were supposed to have that done in August.
The update probably failed.
Touche.
Anyway, related to your updates, and I've already done the damage, sort of, but just for future tense, I did a disk cleanup, and I'm still learning because I went to XP and jumped into Windows 8.1 and now 10. And there was an extra feature in Disk Cleanup about clean up your system files down at the bottom. So I clicked that. Took it forever, and it come back, and I had a Windows.old folder that was huge.
Yes.
You know, it was like almost 20 gigabytes in size.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that was, and I wasn't sure if I should release. So I just brought up the Windows, and did the search, and I'm finding out that's not a very good search engine. I probably didn't do it right, but it came up with nothing. I searched for Windows.old. So I went ahead and left it, clean it up. Well, then I did a little bit of research on the internet, and then I'm realizing that was the old folder that had the Windows in from the upgrade.
Right.
And is that a hidden folder? Since I've already deleted it, I couldn't go back and see it. Is that a hidden folder?
No, they're not hidden. They're bold as day. In fact, if I look at my computer here, I haven't actually cleaned mine up from the last update yet. But it's one of the things, like when we do preventative maintenance checkups, we clean that up. Wow, I'm pretty full on my hard drive here, so maybe it is about time I clean one of these up. But I have Windows old, and Windows.old 1. So I've got a lot.
You got two of them.
Yeah, but they're not hidden folders. Hidden folders, when you make your hidden folders visible, they look light gray. So it's they're like ghosty kind of, and it's not ghosty. So it's it's bold and beautiful right there.
I don't know why didn't that search detect it when I went into the start page and just typed in Windows.old, search for it, come up with no results. So
because the indexed files are usually only within your user folder.
Oh, okay.
Because
I should have searched on the hard drive.
There you go. Yeah, if you searched in the user folder, it was only going to return documents, pictures, things like that. If you searched on the whole hard drive, it would have found it there.
Okay. Well, see, XP, they had a different search engine that I really liked. It searched all day trying to find something.
Well, that's because it stored stuff willy-nilly anywhere it wanted to, so it had to. Yeah, it had to search everything.
Kind of like me in my old retired years.
It's kind of funny now. We're getting the next generation of Schrock employees in, if you will, and these are kids who were infants when Windows, Millennium and 98 were out, and they've never used them. I mean, it would be like asking someone from my generation to troubleshoot their Apple IIe. It's like, I think I used that in grade school, but what? But so and we had one that came in for a data transfer, and literally, like, the guys, they were looking at the new guys, were just like, I don't understand, where's the user folder? I'm like, there wasn't a user folder. Well, then how do you know where your stuff is? You didn't know where your stuff was. But then how did you find stuff that you saved? You saved it someplace you knew where it was. That's stupid. Like, that's why they changed it.
Yeah, that's the way I still do things. I guess you get to still, because I started big time with Windows 98. That was the one I got real familiar with.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much for the call, Dale. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the great question there. We got to roll here. 866-496-8772. Got to take our bottom of the hour break. Ken, your call coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Get this pro tip, 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing.
Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Cleaning up from Hurricane Michael, slow going as the number of dead rises to 19.
The top priorities today, of course, are continuing the search and rescue, trying to locate these 2,100 or so people that remain unaccounted for. A big complexity here is that there are really poor cell service if you even have it.
Fox's Phil Keating in Mexico Beach, Florida. Two NFL teams will try to stay undefeated in today's gridiron action.
The Chiefs and Patriots with the marquee matchup this week in a Sunday night showdown as Kansas City looks to keep a 0 in the loss column. The Rams, the only other undefeated squad, will travel to Mile High to take on the Broncos. A couple of division rivalries on tap today in Week 6 NFL action, with the Falcons facing the Buccaneers and the Bengals will battle the Steelers.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. In baseball, Houston beat Boston 7-2 in Game 1 of the ALCS. NLCS, Dodgers beat Milwaukee 4-3 to even that series of one game each. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Colder air continues to spill into the area, temperatures falling into the middle 30s by the lunch hour. Rain changing to snow between 9 and 10 a.m., a trace to a half inch in the metro area, slightly heavier amounts, perhaps up to 2 inches south of town. Most of the snow falling on the roads will melt. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All righty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. During the commercial break, I just decided, let's find out how many. Oh, I just hit the space bar with the back of my hand. It canceled it. No, now I got to do it again. All right, so I wanted to find out, I wonder if I do clean up my system files, because I just looked at I haven't checked how full my hard drive is in a while, and it's pretty darn full. So I thought I should probably take a look and see, how much I can clean up if I did a disk cleanup, because, mechanics, car and all, last car to get fixed, plumbers, pipes are the worst in town, kind of thing. I'm at work so much, when I get home, the last thing I want to do is work on my own computer anymore. So I checked, I had 5.9 gigabytes of files that I had of just system files to delete. I'm like, whoo, that's a lot of gigabytes. I'm going to get rid of that. So yeah, 866-496-8772. During the break here, we're on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and answering questions about the solid state upgrade things. Guys, I'm not joking when I'm telling you, I should have done this. I should have taken a picture. We're actually getting solid states in by the case. Because that many, it used to be 1 in 3 customers was coming in and complaining of slowness, and we'd suggest a solid state and they would take it. Since I started talking about it on the show, it's more like 2 in 3 to 3 in 3. Everyone's like, how much faster? And so, I mentioned it on the air, and Barbara is on Facebook, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm coming in this week. I'm like, yeah, it's that much better, guys. So if you've been frustrated with your computer speed and performance, there's something we can do for that. Get it into the shop. We can take a look at it for you. Also, for those of you running Drive Advisor, Drive Advisor works on solid-state hard drives as well. If you don't have Drive Advisor on your computer, you can get it for free. There are no strings attached. There's no advertising. You don't get any spam. It's nothing like that. The only thing that Drive Advisor reports is it does report back to Schrock if you're a Schrock customer only. So if you've been on our bench in the past, it will report back to us for our records what your computer's specifications are, your statistics. So if people like Barbara call us and say, how large of a solid-state hard drive do I need, Thor? If you've been on the bench before and you have Drive Advisor, well, it'll tell us how big your solid-state or your hard drive in your computer is right now. And we can tell you how large of a solid-state you would need. So it's kind of cool. So that's the only thing that it reports back, full disclosure of your privacy. It doesn't tell me anything about you, your family, your dogs, who your first children are, and what your passwords are, or anything like that. But it is completely free. Why is it free? There's always a catch, right? There's got to be a reason why it's free. All right. what Drive Advisor does is it detects your hard drive failure early before it becomes a huge problem. Does it detect every hard drive failure? No, it does not. It only detects the slow rolling failures that happen slowly over time, which is the majority of them. Sudden, catastrophic. You run your computer over with your car. Drive Advisor is not going to send you an alert. Yo, dude, your hard drive's kind of in pieces. It's not going to do that. If there's a sudden catastrophic failure of your hard drive, Drive Advisor doesn't see that coming. But these slow failures that happen over time, we had just in the last couple days, we had 2 C drives fail and 1 J drive, somebody's external hard drive, because it checks those too. So install Drive Advisor on your computer. It asks you for your email address. You put that in. It'll send you an email when your hard drive is failing so that you can get it replaced before it becomes a big problem. Why do we give it away for free? Why did we spend the money to make it and give it to you? Because we hope that if you listen to our program and you enjoy the show and we've developed a relationship with you of trust over time, that when your hard drive fails, you would trust us to replace it for you. So you would give us your business rather than giving it to some other computer repair shop. It's a pretty straightforward, it's a value proposition, guys. There it is. You would give you this free program. Now you feel like you owe me something, right? So when and if you ever have to spend money on your computer, you're like, Schrock gave me this free program that told me my hard drive was bad and saved me from a $2,000 data recovery. Maybe I should throw him a bone for that $150 solid state hard drive. That's the hope. 866-496-8772. Let's go to Ken's call. Ken, how can I help you on Compute This?
Yes, my question is, I've got the solid state computer. I love it. My cell phone, an old flip phone, it's an old Android, and the battery life is next to nothing. Do you smartphones, I'm not that smart anymore. Upgrades make me feel foolish. Just give me, do I have to go to iPhone, or are the droids worth a poop?
Oh, well, I use the Samsung. Let me see. I've got the Samsung S8 or Note 8. I've got the Note 8. I didn't get the Note 9 because the Note 9 wasn't that much of an improvement for $1,200. So I didn't get that one. Now, you don't have to buy the Cadillac model. I use mine almost like, because I'm on the road so much, I use it almost like a business computer. So you can get a really nice, like an S7 Samsung phone for like $150, $200. And they are amazing computing platforms. The battery, for most people, it's an all-day battery. It's really, really a nice thing. So if your Android phone right now, if the only problem with it is that it doesn't hold a charge very long, these batteries don't last forever. They don't recharge forever. So you have to replace them. And the battery, even though it's an enclosed phone, it can be opened and the battery can be replaced. There's nothing wrong with Apple devices like iPhones. My wife, the lovely Kimberly, she uses iPhone. My son, he uses iPhone. I'm the only droider in my house. Now, my daughter is 5, so she doesn't have a phone yet. So maybe I can bring her over to the dark side, but I suspect strongly, since Mama holds the cache of online Amazon videos, that it's going to be iPhone all the time for everybody else, because they get, if you get the iPhone, then you get access to all the media Mama's bought for the last decade for all the other children and all the apps and games and everything. Well, I want that. I want an iPhone. Great, thanks, appreciate that. So you can go to an iPhone if you want. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you the Android phones, in my opinion, I like them better than the iPhone. But Apple users will tell you all day long that they would prefer their iPhone. So it's really a personal preference. Ken, one thing I would mention is if you're used to the Android operating system, going to the iPhone can be a bit of an adjustment for the first month or so. Once you're adjusted, you'll be fine. But it can be frustrating for the first month or so when all you want to do is turn on the Wi-Fi, and what used to be a simple swipe down from the top of the screen is now a swipe up from the bottom of the screen. Why would it be different? Because it can, but it is different. So, if you wanted to fix that old phone, a new battery is probably all it needs. If you wanted to have an excuse to get a newer device, this is a great excuse to do it. There's some really good deals to be had out there, especially going into the holiday season here. There's going to be some great deals on phones this year. And we're going to talk about in the next segment here is Samsung wanting to make a foldable phone. So maybe you want to hold out for that one so you can fold it up in your pocket and then unfold it like a tablet.
God, it sounds great, Thor. It really sounds great. every upgrade makes me feel more foolish. And like when it takes you 3 weeks to figure out how to turn the camera off and turn the phone on, I appreciate your help. And
no problem, Ken. That's what we're here
it's time for an upgrade. I'd rather spend yada yada on a new smartphone, and rather than spend half of that money on a new battery for my flip phone.
Well, there you go.
So,
that's funny.
anyway.
Flip phones. All right, thank you for the call, Ken. I appreciate it.
Hey, have a great day. We appreciate your help.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. It sounds hilarious because my dad, he calls, he doesn't call me. My sister texts me and says, if you can't get a hold of Dad, because, when we can't get a hold of my dad, we kind of freak out a little bit because he's got a heart condition. If you can't get a hold of Dad, it's because his phone is broken. I'm like, his phone is broken? How did his phone break? He has a flip phone. I don't think you could break those aside from snap. I mean, how do you break a flip phone? It won't turn on anymore. I think it might need a battery, she says. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going over there to help him with his groceries this afternoon. I'll take a look at it. And oh my gosh, Tech Hero. Oh yeah. I walk in there and you see what happened was my dad let the phone die. He let it go all the way to dead, to the point where it turned itself off because it was dead. Well, then he did whatever he does all the time. He plugs it into the charger and the screen comes on and says charging battery. And he says, okay, there we go. But for the life of me, that darn thing won't ring. It won't do anything. What's going on? Well, nobody can figure it out. So I look at it and it says charging battery. I'm like, okay. I push and hold the power button for 2 seconds and the phone turns on. Because, when you plug it in, it just says charging battery. It doesn't actually turn on. Same thing with an iPhone, same thing with an Android. This is like phone 101. But my dad doesn't know this stuff. My mom doesn't know this stuff. My sister didn't think about this stuff because she's not used to shooting tech support. She knows that you have to turn the phone on after you plug it in, but she hasn't learned that you need to ask the question, sir, is the device turned on right now? I know this is going to be a silly question, but I need you to find the power cord and trace it back to the outlet for me. 101, you start there. Otherwise, a half an hour later, you're kicking yourself for not. So then I get it all done, right? And I'm helping my dad put his groceries away. My mom says, oh, Thor, did you fix Daddy's phone? I'm like, I sure did. What did you do? I'm like, I turned it on. Oh, how did you do that? Now there's a little button that has a power symbol on it. You see, I just pushed and held that for 2 minutes and then bloom. And then on cue, his doctor's office calls him and the thing, of course, he has the ringer turned up to ear splitting maximum. And I'm deaf in one ear. That's saying something. And it's ring. And it has that old telephone ring, that's the ringer he's got. Oh boy, you hear that thing ringing a mile away. But I'm just saying, guys, I am a walking tech hero. I do it all day long at work. I get home, my dad needs me to do it for him. The last thing I want to do is clean up my own 5.9 gigabytes of system files. 866-496-8772. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Samsung's folding phone. Would you want a foldable phone? How do you put it on your head? If you hold this phablet up to your head, does it bend around your head? How do you keep it from not folding when you don't want it to fold and then folding when you want it? It doesn't have a hinge, guys. This is a screen that folds in half, no hinge. So it's not two screens with a hinge in the middle. It's one thing. Also, we're going to talk about the gray hat Russian hacker who's patching all your routers because he's just a good guy. Okay. And senators demand that Google hands over their internal memo about the Google Plus cover-up. Bum, bum, bum. All right, all that and more coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, guys, welcome back to Compute This. Final segment of the show today, 866-496-8772. All right, so here we go. The Samsung, our foldable phone, will be a tablet that fits in your pocket. Samsung mobile boss, DJ Koh. That sounds like a stage name. That's his real name, DJ Koh, K-O-H, DJ Koh, is convinced that we need a foldable phone. And then later in the article, it says he acknowledges that the foldable phone at first will be a niche market. Kind of like, the curved screens on the phones were a niche thing in the beginning. And now every high-end phone has curved screens on it now where the edges curve down. It doesn't really do much of anything to improve your user experience. It actually requires you to buy different cases because, you can't have a phone case that comes up on the edge when the screen curves down. So if you're looking on Facebook right now, you can see that. Here, let me try to pop that out of there. There we go. So you can see that the phone has a little bit of a curved edge to it right there. See that? Yeah. So it's pretty cool, right? Yeah, that's a lovely Kimberly on my phone. Hi, honey. But yeah, so they say now we need a foldable phone. They've got phones wrapped around their wrist. They've got phones folded in their pocket. They have the phablet phone that folds in half and then you put it in your pocket. Really big pockets. Just the other day, were we not talking about how a group of feminists were really, really upset with Apple because they said that the new iPhone was sexist because the iPhone, like XXX plus size, whatever, is too large for 80% of the pockets in women's pants. So women have to buy 2-year-old outdated phones because it won't fit in the women's fashion pockets. So this foldable phone is like a godsend. You can fold it up and put it in your pocket now, right? And if you sit on it, you're not going to crack the screen. That's pretty cool. So yesterday's launch of a mid-range Galaxy A9, the world's first 4-camera phone, Koh told the ZDNet site, CNET, that consumers would use the foldable device as a tablet with multitasking capability and then fold it into a more portable phone. I am positive we need to do a foldable phone. He says the foldable phone will be really meaningful to our customer and stressed that Samsung must deliver a user experience that is up to his standard. The exec also wants to avoid the product becoming a gimmick, a fate that is entirely possible for a folded phone. Rather, he wants the concept to have the same level of success as the Galaxy Note, which was written off at first by critics for its large screen, but has since been recognized as valuable by rivals in the form of devices like the iPhone XS Max. I have a Note 8. I love the thing. I'd never used the darn stylus at all, but I love the size of the screen and the extra juice and processing power and storage that it has. The catch would be that if would-be buyers of Samsung were to announce the foldable phone at next month's developer conference, that would mean it's unlikely to sell the phone for some time. But it could be available by November if they push hard. And the big worry they have is Huawei. Is Huawei going to introduce the foldable phone first? So there you go, guys. A foldable phone. We could call it the new flip phone, if you will. That would be something, wouldn't it? All right, so next up. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Those of you who have or know what Secure Updater is. Secure Updater is a program that we make at Schrock that you run on your computer, and it automatically and silently installs third-party software updates for your computer, so you always have the most up-to-date versions of Java and Flash and Adobe Reader and just a score of other programs. Actually, I think, how many is a score? Yeah, I think it's slightly over a score of other programs that get automatically updated. And one of the big reasons that customers like Secure Updater is if you've ever been on the internet and you see a pop-up that appears on your screen that says, you need the latest version of Flash Player to continue, click here to download. And the pop-up looks just like a real pop-up. I mean, it's exactly the same. How do you know which one is the fake one that's going to infect your computer with an unfathomable encryption cryptoware virus, and which one is a real Adobe update that needs to be done? Secure Updater is doing the real updates for you. So if you see the pop-up, you know it's fake. You can just ignore it. Yay! So this is exactly why we make Secure Updater. Secure Updater. Security warning. Attackers are using these 5 tools to hack you, and one of those tools is a fake update. So basically, there's a fake update going around right now that is installing crypto mining software on your computer. It pops up and says it's an Adobe update, and when you install it in your browser, it installs an extension that mines for cryptocurrency using your power and your computer's processor in the background while your computer is turned on. Now, anybody who knows anything about cryptocurrency knows that you're not going to mine anything on a computer's web browser. It's not even worth your time writing the code. Unless, of course, you can push this out to a few million computers mining simultaneously as a group, as a pool, basically. Then they combine their processing power together, and they can make something really big happen. They can make hundreds of thousands of dollars for the attacker. And all he has to do is get your computer infected. And it only uses a little bit more power, like a lot more power. So it could run on your computer for a month before you get your electric bill. And you're like, what is going on that my electric bill is so high? And then you might not make the immediate conclusion that it's your computer. So because your computer's performance hasn't really degraded, because it's been running slow anyway, because, all the patches for the last 6 months. So yeah, this is the newest thing that's coming out, and this is exactly why Secure Updater exists, so that you don't get this kind of garbage infecting your computer, because even if you have great antivirus software like Symantec Endpoint, these are the vulnerabilities that can circumvent any antivirus. So you want to make sure you've got good antivirus and you've got Secure Updater running on your computer to do these third-party updates. Now, right along here with the security, my mysterious gray hat is patching people's outdated MikroTik routers. You may not know what the MikroTik router is. Not something that we use too much in America, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but it is one of those routers that's pushed out by an internet service provider. So how many of you know the brand, the internal brand of the wireless router that's built into your new Spectrum cable modem? That's why I tell customers I don't like using those integrated ones that are built into the router. I prefer to disable those or built into the modem. Disable those ones that are built into the modem and get a separate router that you can control and upgrade and update, because it makes your security so much better. And this is why. A Russian-speaking gray hat hacker is breaking into people's MikroTik routers and patching devices so they can't be abused by cryptojackers, botnet herders, a botnet herder, or other cyber criminals. The hacker, who goes by the name Alexei, he says he works as a server administrator, and he claims to have disinfected over 100,000 routers already. Alexei is not trying to hide his actions and has boasted of his hobby on Russian blogging platforms. And he says access to routers, and he accesses routers and makes the changes to their settings to prevent further abuse. I added firewall rules that block access to the router from outside of the local network. In the comments, I wrote information about the vulnerability and left the address of the router on a Telegram channel where it was possible for them to ask questions. But despite adjusting firewall settings for 100,000 users, Alexei says that only 50 users reached out to him about the change he made to their routers. As a few said thanks, but most were outraged. The vigilante server administrator says he's only out there fixing routers that have not been patched by their owners against a vulnerability that came to light last April. So what he's saying is, there's a firmware update for your routers, guys, and you're not installing them. So I am using that vulnerability to get into your router, and I'm installing the MikroTik patch that closes the vulnerability. And I'm even leaving you a note saying, hey, I hacked into your stuff, but I patched it, and now you're secure. And if you have questions, here's how you can reach me. And he actually responds to people. I mean, okay, we've joked in Schrock this is like an ongoing joke in the shop. Have you ever gotten one of those Microsoft scam calls? Oh, yes, we've detected your IP address has an infection, and we need to look at this. This is Microsoft calling. You know what? We said, you know what we could do as Schrock? We could call customers. What if we did this? What if we called customers and said that we were with Schrock Innovations, we're an authorized Microsoft provider, service provider, and this is the shady part. You have to have a lead to get into the computer, right? So, and I don't want to lie to people. So, there's a good possibility your computer could have some vulnerabilities that need to be plugged, and we're going to do that for you for free over the Schrock desk. We just need remote access to your computer. And as history shows us, 4 in 5 people will allow you the access to the computer. So we're how much money could we make as a company if we called people up at random and got them to let us into their computer, but then we only fixed real problems? Because that's the thing. The scammers always find problems even if there are no problems. They always find all these atrocious problems and they want $400 to fix it. But what if the newest one now is there's a scammer that calls and sells you a legit copy of Kaspersky. Like, you actually are buying real software, but they still put the remote access Trojan on your computer so they can get back in later. But they put real antivirus on the computer, and they really charge you for real antivirus, and you get a code and everything. That's the latest scam. But we've joked about this before. We could be millionaires, and all we'd have to do is the honest work of fixing real problems for people. So yeah, it's kind of shady, but wow, we'd be doing good work. And that's kind of what this guy is doing. He's hacking in, he's breaking into your house because the locks on your windows aren't locked. So he's breaking into your house, locking all your windows, and then leaving a note on the fridge that he was there. And then he leaves and locks the door behind him as he goes. I don't know. How do you feel about that? All right, so you can think about that for a second. We're going to have an aftershock going on here. You need to draw a winner. We're going to do the aftershock here on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations here after the program. In the meantime, today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, is Ken. Congratulations, Ken. You got yourself that $25 certificate. Stay on the line there. We have a caller on hold there. Stay on the line. And let me see, his name here is Douglas. Stay on the line, Douglas, and we'll get to your call here as soon as we jump off the phone. And then we'll be back again next Sunday for an exciting edition of Compute This.
From the Millard Roofing Studios, we've got you covered. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB, Omaha, an iHeart radio station.
Totally consumed by a chilling lust for power. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News.